Crib Goch Winter Traverse. Crib Goch is located in Snowdonia National Park in Wales. Crib Goch is described as knife-edged. While this is a dangerous hike in the summer times, only the real adrenaline junkies take on the stunning winter traverse. With no wires and no safety, one wrong step and you'll be tumbling down the 3,028 feet high rock face of Crib Goch.
1942 as a top secret trail to get to the top of the mountain. On the top there was a very powerful transmitter that could communicate with Navy ships. In 1987 it was closed and trespassing would give you a hefty fine of $600. It isn't just that makes this hike dangerous. Broken handrails and a very subpar staircase is what you'll use to climb to the top. But I'll tell you a little secret, there is actually a legal way to get to the top, and that is the Mauna Lua trail that starts on the other side of the mountain. And as the title of this video, it looks like a pretty dangerous but unbelievably cool hike. Angel's Landing, or earlier known as Temple of Aeolus, is a 5,790 feet rock formation in Zion National Park, southern Utah. It's a 2.4 miles long hike and perfect for a day hike when the weather is good. It starts off following the path of the Virgin River when it slowly starts elevating. It has 24 switchbacks of pretty decent elevation before you get to the Scout Lookout. That's a pretty common turnaround point for some people that don't want to do the remaining trip to the top, because the last half mile is littered with sharp drop-offs and narrowed paths. Luckily they have provided the trail with chains to hold on to. By doing the last half mile you will be rewarded with an incredibly beautiful view.
Via Ferrata. Mountain Torque is located in Sabah, Malaysia, and is one of the world's highest via ferrata, with its highest peak at 12,388 feet. The climb itself is over 2 days where you have to sleep in a pennant hut. The hike consists of walking on small metal steps with almost a 90-degree angle straight down. Dibona. Ivano Dibona Via Ferrata is located in the Cristallo mountain group in the north of Italy. This is actually a pretty easy hike because it's mostly downhill. It's a well-known route in the Dolomites, which was used in the World War I. The scariest feature of this hike is the 27-meter long suspension bridge.
Don't be discouraged if you aren't a professional rock climber though, because it also has a lot of different routes with all sorts of difficulty levels. The village of Tagia has a few dozen buildings not so far from the base of these massive mountains. You're going to have to commit to hiking these trails though, as getting there is no joke. Firstly, you have to get to Sawia, which isn't the most central place. You'll then have to take a 2-hour hike to Tagia. If you have a lot of gear, you can actually hire a donkey to help you out. Once you get there, there are a lot of trails that just waiting for you to walk on them. Beautiful trail in Hawaii is the Kalalau Trail. It runs along the Napali coast on the island of Kauai. The hike is 11 miles and most average hikers take this trail in 2 days, where they'll camp in Hanakua Valley or Kalalau Beach, which is the turning point or the end destination of this trail. Supposedly 500,000 people do this hike every year, but it isn't until the 7th mile that this trail goes from good to bad.
In the south of Spain, it has become a hike for more of the adventure-seeking and crazy enough people willing to attempt it. There are a lot of sections where the concrete has broken off and made large open air gaps in the trail. The only thing left is the rusty and rotting metal support beams that you have to walk on. Although you are supported by a wire, there has been recorded at least 5 deaths and many injuries on the hiking trail. Is one of China's 5 great mountains. Mount Hushan has great religious value, and the hiking trail leads to some amazing temples. But that isn't why most tourists walk this trail. The main attraction is the plank walk, a very narrow trail of planks mounted straight into the vertical mountainside. Needless to say, this is not a place you want to be if you're afraid of heights. Actually, some people have walked this path without any safety harness. One wrong step or a slip of the foot and they would take the fast way down this 7,000 feet mountain. But most accidents don't actually come from the plank walk itself. It comes from the very steep steps and ladders you have to climb to get up there. You are hooked to a wire, but if you fall, it will be a pretty decent drop before the harness actually catches you. There are
Peak, which is a very high summit of 14,000 feet at the highest. It's one of the most difficult hikes in the 14ers, which is a bunch of routes in the Rocky Mountains. It isn't a very technical route for climbing, but on this hike you will face a lot of airy ridges, steep rock faces, loose rocks, and the summit that's, well, remember I said the mountain in Snowdonia was described as knife-edged? This one is really like the edge of a knife. Climbing on this will definitely give you a big boost of adrenaline. The other thing that's so dangerous about this hike is that the weather has so much to say on the safety of this route. Because getting down or changing your mind isn't really an option here. Most people do this as a 2-day hike. First day they hike to the camp at Capitol Lake, and the second day they take on the beautiful Capitol Peak.